Okay, welcome everyone to homeless verification training. I am gonna get started now and share my screen. Okay, can everyone see? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the overview of this is I'm going to go through the 5 different types of homeless verification that there is, the designation form, and then just helpful tips and tricks for these applications and these forms. Okay, so oh my gosh. Okay, the objective or purpose is so that you understand the team approach of the homeless verification process, that we answer any of your questions, and that we make sure that you feel comfortable with doing these forms. Hopes and dreams for today is that you all ask questions, take notes, and just feel free to ask or share anything that will help you with these forms later on. Okay, so the very first one, and this is like the gold standard of homeless verification, is the Clarity Printout. The Clarity Printout you can find on HMIS, or it is on Clarity, but we call it the HMIS printout. And this is what it looks like. This is what a perfect Clarity printout looks like. It has all green and all yeses. That means that there is verification for homelessness for October, September, all of that stuff. And so this is like amazing. This is the only thing that you'll need if it's all green. If it's not all green and has all Ys, you still need to print out and attach it to whatever application you're doing, but this is also a great layout. So say that you're missing a few months, that's okay. That's great that you'll know that you'll need to like get May or April if it's red or there's an N. So it's a really great outline, and reminder, you'll still need to print it out even if it isn't perfect and green. So then the next one that you can use is the third-party homeless verification form. This is the one that you'd use if your client was in a facility for under 90 days, or 90 days if it was like a shelter or whatnot. And the most important thing to remember is that you're going to need a stamp or card to go along with this form. And if the person who's filling out doesn't have a stamp or a card, you can always ask them for their supervisor's stamp or card. And then if worst comes to worst, there's really no stamp or card, you can have them put out their contact information and write like no stamp or card. And also to note, please leave the date blank, and always say how long they've been there. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty cut and dry, like put their name, date of birth, household size, all that stuff, application's name, and name of organization, have the applicant sign, so your client, and then leave this blank for now until you get the okay to date it. And then it's really nice, makes it really clear, puts a nice red font right here to remind you that this is only for people that are in facilities. If they weren't in facility or they're unhoused completely, then that's totally okay, but there's another form for that. So then just check which one applies to them, and then put the name of the location and the full address. So the full name and the full address. Don't do any acronyms or anything like that. I know in the nonprofit world, we love doing that, but just don't do that for this one, write it all out. And then put the start date and the end date. If there's no end date and they're still currently there, just like leave this blank until you get the okay to date and everything. And then you can put, or actually, no, you don't need to put the date there at all. So yeah, just leave that blank if they're still there, and then put the full amount of days that they're there when you're turning it in and dating it. Okay. And then the other type of homeless verification, this is the most common one. This is observation of homelessness. So this is the most common one that I see all the time. It's really easy because anyone can do it. Case managers can do it, outreach can do it, a community member can do it, police officer. So anyone in the community can fill these out. which is really wonderful. Make sure, a really great tip is to make sure to leave the most current month blank. And you'll see that when I switch the forms, because sometimes we have a lot of back and forth depending on how much is missing or how many edits need to be done to the application. So it's best to just leave that blank just in case like we need to add an extra month to it because of the application process. And then don't forget to have the person who is completing it put their name, title, even if it's a community member, that's okay. Their title will just be community member. And then also we'll need a card, leave the date blank. Yeah, so just kind of like the other applications, you're always going to want names, contact information, card if possible, and then leaving it blank. Those are just like, I'm going to probably repeat that a bunch because those are like the most important points for all of the forms. So the description portion, I know that some people struggle a little bit with this, which is totally okay because we do need specific wording. It's really important to be very clear with what you're saying. And also you don't need to write too much, but here are some suggested wording for you all is in the observation, we'll say, case manager saw client sleeping in a tent. Case manager observed client with belongings on park bench at. Case manager saw client sleeping in car on. So to build that out would be like, say if I was doing this, I'd say like case manager saw client sleeping in tent on Hill and First Street in downtown LA. That's perfect. And especially if they're moving around a lot, just try to get the cross street, if anything, or if they're in front of an actual address, like say they at nighttime, they like to sleep in front of like Walgreens or a CVS somewhere, you can like write that down. Or like if they usually stay at one specific park, you can say like the park name and address. That's also really helpful. Anything that's like specific and concrete. And we know that our clients move around and that's okay, but just try to get like cross streets at minimum. So this is what the form looks like. So most of this column is going to say prior, and then just the most current month will say current. And for that, I would just say, again, like reminder to leave the current just blank for now. You can just not, it's a drop-down menu and you just don't need to select anything until you get the go ahead to like date everything, then you would put current. And then this is where you put the description. So this is where you're gonna say like case manager, observed client, living in tent on First and Hill. That's where you'd put this. And then for the date, this is where you'd say, so like you saw them on April 1st, 2020. That's great. And all you need is for April, you only need one observation per month to prove their homelessness for that month. So think of each one of these rows as a month. So this entire form could have 3 months. So if you're going to do the whole year, you're going to need to print out a few of these forms or, type up a few of these forms to make up for all 12 months. Does that make sense? I know that this form can get a little confusing.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then I know that sometimes we see our clients obviously more than once a month. That's totally awesome. If you want to include that, you can, but that can sometimes get a little confusing. So just try to choose like one time a month. And also it's okay if say your client lives at MacArthur Park and like all of the descriptions are going to be case manager, observed client, intent at MacArthur Park, address. That's totally okay. Each one can be the same if that's true for each of the months. The only thing that I have to say that you can't do, I know that sometimes it's tempting to do the little air quotes to pull it down. For any of these forms, you have to write everything out, write the client's full name out, write the full facility or full company name out, write the full address out, just be as clear and concise as possible. Yeah. Okay, so for the observation of homelessness form, here's just some language to stay away from. I see this a lot. It's the most common mistake. And I'm really trying to be like, stop, please stop doing this. You can't say like case manager saw client being homeless or community member saw client being homeless, because to say that you're seeing someone being homeless doesn't give us an actual observation, because being unhoused can look different for a lot of people. So that's why we need to know specifically, like, were they in a tent? Did they just have all their belongings on a bench? Were they living in their car? Were they just sleeping on like on on a sleeping bag, like just be specific of what you saw that day. Or you can say like met with client and they had all of their belongings with them. Saw client using the shower at this facility and knew that they were going back to their location at MacArthur Park. So something like that, that just like says what you actually saw, that obviously shows that they are unhoused currently. And then just a reminder of who can complete this. It can be a service provider, so outreach, case manager, whatnot, a business owner, cops, community members. And this form is really helpful because sometimes it's hard to prove homelessness, even though like say a client's been homeless for like 5 years. You don't need to go back to 5 years for them. I mean, we just need a year of homelessness for them, or really 12 months, because it is okay if they have breaks, but as long as we have 12 months to prove their homelessness. And it's really important and really good to lean on your trauma-informed training for this process, because you're going to need clients to kind of remember 12 months of this, and that can be really traumatic for people, to go back and replay those 12 months of being unhoused. But it's really important to like walk them through if they're having a hard time, being like, take me through like a day in your life during this time of your life. So it would be like, did you wake up? Did you go to the McDonald's to get coffee? Was there a 7-Eleven that you went to get breakfast or a snack? Was there somewhere that you always went to go use the bathroom? And like kind of like walk through their day of like where they were like using the restroom, where they were getting food, who they were hanging out with, what different types of programs were they may be using, and kind of walk that through with them. And then that's when you can go back and be like, okay, so you always went to that McDonald's. So go to that McDonald's and see if you can talk to the manager. And this is a great story that Lindsay shared with me and other people that have gone through this training. Is one time they were trying to get this observation of homelessness from this McDonald's or Burger King. I can't remember the fast food exactly. And the manager kept saying like, I'll do it. And it kept forgetting and then wasn't doing it. Something like that. And then one of the cashiers, just this young kid, was like, oh, I've seen, Joe Smith every day for the past few months. I would do it. And like, that's awesome. That's a member that can just do it. It doesn't have to be a manager or someone in any type of powerful position. It just has to be someone who witnessed our clients experiencing their unhoused while they were unhoused. So just a little tip for that. Okay, dedicated plus housing verification. This is the self-certification, and this is only used in really specific scenarios because there's some rules around this now. We can't use this for everyone. This can only be used if you've located someone to do, say, like the homelessness observation of homelessness form, the one I just showed you. They agree to do it. You've asked them and they've agreed to do it at least 3 times minimum and document this. The way you document this is in your case notes. So obviously for like that day, you're going to be like, try to get homeless observation from manager at McDonald's. They agreed to do it and turn it into me next week, Monday. Next week, Monday comes, they're like, I went to the McDonald's. Manager did not complete it. I re-requested that they do it. They said they'd turn it into me next week, Tuesday, and then so on and so forth, and have at least 3 documented attempts of someone agreeing to doing it and then not following through on it. So that's important. And then after that, we just need the verification done. And you have attempted to find other people and you just can't find anyone. So after you have all that evidence in your Clarity or in Champ, wherever you're keeping your notes, and then you really just need to use the self-certification. That's when you are going to go to your supervisor and say like, I've tried everything, I need some help, and I just want to use the self-certification. Oh wait, sorry. One last thing I want to say on this is then after you talk to your supervisor about it, then you're either going to go to Teresa, Lindsay, or Charmaine to request to use this form. So it's a little bit more serious, and that's why we like really want you to use usually like the observation of homelessness or any of the other homeless verifications. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, cool. So let's practice. Charmaine did this PowerPoint, so I love this. Like, no pressure, but there are bragging rights at stake. So try your best. So in the chat, you will see, you'll see that I put 2 different files in there. Let me just see what I got going on. There's the bad form. So just download both of them onto your desktop, and then just give me like a little thumbs up emoji or something, or unmute yourself and let me know when you all have it. And then I will break you up into breakout rooms, and you'll have about 10 minutes with your group to just fill it out as much as possible. They're super blank, super bad. So like it should be pretty obvious for a lot of them, and there are a few tricky ones. But yeah, you'll have 10 minutes, just try your best. And then when you come back, I'll go over them with you. So just let me know when you all have them downloaded.
I got mine.
By the way, y'all, to like react like with a thumbs up, hold on, let me put myself. Okay. To like react with like a thumbs up or something, if you go onto like your dashboard that's on the bottom where it says reactions, you just click the thumbs up there and that'll inform Aiko. Oh. Aiko, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm just getting the breakout rooms ready. Okay.
Where are the files located? I don't see it in the chat.
I'm sorry, what?
The files, are they in the chat?
Yeah, they're in the chat. So like, you'll see like participant security, and there's something that says like chat with a little like chat bubble on it.
Can you just repost it? I came a little late, so it's probably not on my chat screen because I don't see it. Yeah.
I can do that, Aiko. I'll redo that for you.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Rosan, they're in the chat.
Okay, awesome. Just because the main chat doesn't go into the breakout room, so I'm glad that you all have it. Okay, let's do this.
Hi, all. We're just waiting on the others to come in, okay?
Sounds good.
How was y'all's weekend, by the way? What'd you guys do?
My bad. My weekend was cool. Got some time to I went to the Bay Area. Did a little quick turnaround trip.
Where is it?
Dang, you went all the way to the Bay? Crazy.
Yeah. People think it's like a far, but it's not. You know, I do the drive pretty regularly too, so
Oh, okay,
kind of
okay.
used to it.
I mean, yeah, it's something that you're used to then. Did you go see family?
I did. My niece's birthday.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Let me check my video.
Nice. What about you, Amanda? How was your weekend?
It was good, relaxing.
Nice. I'm glad. Good. We need those weekends sometimes.
Yes. Hi there. Sorry, I got distracted with some work emails for a second. I think you're muted, Bree.
I always do that. So
I think
I think people are going to start coming back right now.
Awesome.
And
then Rozan? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
It's pronounced Rosan.
Rosan. I just want to let you know, I can't remember when you jumped in, but we are recording this. So I just wanted you to know. So if you're comfortable with on screen, that's totally fine. If you're not comfortable, please feel free to turn.
No, because she keeps saying, well, wait a minute.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. I made an announcement at the beginning, but I can't remember. I said it when you joined, so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone.
I am going to share my screen, and then if you all don't mind just like unmuting as we go through, because I'm just going to ask you all like what you saw wrong with it and just go through the edits with everyone. So let me just pull it up on my end. Okay, can everyone see what I'm working with? Let me see if I can make this any bigger. No. Okay. Okay, so does anyone want to start us off and tell me what you're seeing to get corrected right here? I will give you a hint. It's somewhere on the top.
Date of birth is not filled in. And then the applicant name is an ID number.
Yeah, so awesome. It should definitely have the client's full name and date of birth. Thank you. And then anything wrong right here?
Yeah, this one it says client was, well, first of all, there's some bad spelling. But then also it says client was homeless, and we're not supposed to say that they were just homeless. We have to be a little bit more specific.
Awesome. And then
the date is also, shouldn't say present, it should be an exact date.
Yeah. No, you all are super right on. So first off, like this, the first thing is this is incorrect. It should be just one date, and it should just be for like October 1st, 2019, and that's just 1 month. And then if they wanted to continue on, then it should be November 1st, 2019 for this one, and then so on and so forth. And then for descriptions, you all are right. It should say like client, case manager observed client with all their belongings on First and Hill in downtown LA. And then for current prior, the golden practice is for the most recent one to just not have anything here, and then everything else should say prior. Yeah. And then right here,
I have a quick question about that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I just want to ask. So, say if someone was verifying someone's homelessness over 3 years, right? Or for the last even year, how is that going to be recorded in that one date box? Because I thought you were supposed to do the when they first started, or whenever they first started observing them homeless, until like whatever the present day is. But,
yeah.
You
So
said it was only supposed to be one date.
Totally. So it's best to think of each one of these rows as 1 month. So if you're going to do an entire 12-month verification, I would just suggest not to go back and doing a whole 3 years, because all you need is 1 month. I mean, 1 year or 12 months of homeless verification, and it doesn't like add to their case or decrease from their case if they have any more than 12 months on history. We know that most of our clients have been unhoused for more than 12 months, but we just need 12 months of documentation. And so if you were going to say use this form specifically for all 12 months, you're going to have to print out multiple of these forms to complete it. So each row would be a month. And so for each month, you only need to have one date. So like say you just saw your client on October 1st, 2019, that's great. But then you say you saw them like a few other days in October, that's totally fine. You can just choose one of those times to write about. So you're going to say like prior occasion, case manager, observed client, living in a tent on First and Hill in downtown LA on October 1st, 2019, and that entire row will count for all of October of 2019. Does that make sense?
I think I've heard a little bit different instructions from just other or what I was previously told.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't told that we're supposed to print out additional sheets for to get more than that time frame, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I just need a little bit more clarification on that though, because as of now, if we're saying if a client, we're trying to just to get the last like year, that means that we'll be printing out, for these sheets, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's
interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't been communicated to me or by anyone here, so I'll check in.
Yeah, so that's why we do these trainings, because I know that sometimes maybe these forms could be filled out differently last year, the year prior, but this is how we're filling it out right now in the current time. So if you were to turn this in with this type of time frame from October 1st, 2019 to present, like this wouldn't be accepted by the Housing Authority as of current date. And I know that sometimes a little bit of the confusion or frustration is that sometimes the rules change as we go. So we're just trying to that's why we do these trainings, is that we just try to make sure that everyone's on the same page, because it's really normal in a big agency that information is kind of sometimes diluted or a little confusing. So yeah, but thanks for your question. Okay, and then for this section, does anyone see what's missing or incorrect down here?
The full name of the person providing the statement is not filled out. Doesn't say who the person is. Barely minimum information.
Yeah, so totally correct. We need to check off who did this. Was it an intake person, outreach, case manager, or other? And that's where you could write like community member if it was community member, or their job title if that is important. Yeah, and then full name of agency, full name of person who provided the statement, an address if possible, an email if possible, but at least a phone number, and then a signature, a date. Yeah, and then you can also attach this stamp or the business card if they have one to this directly, or you can attach another, copy it and then attach it to the PDF, however works for you. And then this is just some more specific directions for you all to reflect back to when you're doing it. Yeah. Okay, awesome work. And then we have one more to do. So we have this one. Does anyone want to take a crack at it of what's missing or incorrect?
This one, the applicant's name is missing, date of birth, all of that information. And then it says TPC, and you said to make sure that everything is written out, not in acronyms.
Yep. Totally right. So all of this needs to get filled in. We need the client's name. We need the full name of the organization. We need the client to sign. The one thing they have right is that the date isn't signed yet. So that's awesome. And then over here, anyone want to tell me what's wrong with this section right here? So for right here, they need to check off one of these facilities to say which one they were in. And then over here, does anyone see anything incorrect?
It's too vague. It doesn't say the name of the hotel. It just says hotel. The address is missing. I had a question. I don't know if this was because of just for training purposes, but because the date says 2010 and there's no end date and there's only 5 days.
Yeah.
There should be an end date.
Yes. So you pointed out two really great things. One is
of course there should be an end date because they're saying 5 days. And then the other thing is this is definitely a typo because like, although this is like a training from maybe last year, it definitely shouldn't say 2010 on it. And we're not going to be dating something from 2010 for a homeless verification in 2021. So this is kind of a common mistake that if you're typing really fast, and I know that case managers have a lot going on, just to always double check your typos because not having a 2 here could make a really big difference. And then yes, always have an end date for this because it doesn't make sense when you have this over here. Yeah, or you can put current if that's what's happening and then just put the date in which, how many days they've been there on the date that you date this application. And then this part, we're good. Is anything missing right here? Okay. So
same thing, all the information.
Yeah. So we need to have full name. We need to fill in all these blanks. Staff should have titles and emails and sign. And then we need to have the full name of the agency and the address for that. That's great. It's not dated yet. And then I don't have a card. That's not a good answer. That's not accepted. So if you don't have a card, ask your supervisor for a card. If they don't have a card, then see if they have a stamp. If they don't have either one of these, that's okay. Just say, I don't have a card. Here's our contact information list. Again, you know, how they can get a hold of you and where your office is located. Yeah. So good job, everyone. Bragging rights for all. Let's hop back into the training or to the PowerPoint section of the training. Okay. Okay, designation form. This is a really awesome form that was created kind of out of COVID. It was created in August 2020 as an addition. It's not mandatory that you add this, but it's really, really helpful and it's the gold standard to include it along with the rest of the application. So best practice is to fill it out and attach it even if no one asks for it because it will save you later on. The way that you get this signed is it was kind of created during like all of the madness with COVID and whatnot that we can't always see our clients in person. So you can get verbal consent from your client to digitally sign things for them. So like the housing application and anything in this packet, if you get this form completed, then you can digitally sign for them, which makes it a lot faster, a lot easier, and really takes down a lot of the barriers we had before of trying to sign things for your clients, but you can't physically see your clients. Other uses for this form, which is really great, is that if say your client doesn't have their ID or social security card, but you have applied for those things already, and the documentation we all know can take like a month or more to get to you. As long as you have applied for those, the ID or the social, and you have like proof that it's coming, you can go ahead and submit with the designation form and the proof of that you have applied for those different forms that you can just go ahead and apply for the housing voucher, even if you don't have the social ID copy right now. So that's really helpful because sometimes like that's the last thing waiting is that like you just need the ID or the social, but you don't have it and it can take forever in the mail. So that's really helpful. And then once you do get like a hard copy of the ID and the social, the first thing you want to do when your client gets that is to get a copy of it and send it directly to the housing authority. And the reason we have it like this is just because say you submit this and you didn't apply for it yet, and then like maybe you leave or you change positions, and then the client's form is left without an ID or a social. They could lose their housing over that.
come annual time. So that's why it's really important to like already have the ID or the social coming in the mail and immediately give it to the housing authority as soon as you get the hard copy, because we don't want our clients to lose housing because of something that we did or that we didn't complete some task for their all their paperwork or their application. So it's just really important to like fill this form out, one, because of the digital signature, it makes it a lot easier. And two, if for some reason you are waiting for the ID or the social to come in the mail, this is also really great that you can go ahead and apply for a housing voucher or certificate without having it physically yet. Any questions on this form? No? Okay. Other types of verification. Is the letter. It's not used as so much with HACLA or LACTA anymore. I know that the Santa Monica housing application, they do use the letter a lot still, but but if you do end up using this type of certificate, the letter, it needs to be, it's only for certain vouchers. Like I've said, I know the Santa Monica Housing Authority definitely uses it, but other two, no, not really. It must be on letterhead, and you can find our letterhead on SharePoint. You have to say how long you've been working with the client, where you saw them, and in order by time. So it's really helpful to just kind of like bullet point it out, like date and then location within the letter. And then always end, like any letter you'd end in a professional setting with your information and your card and a wet signature. Or in this case, you can probably do a digital signature because of everything going on. Yeah. So this is a little example of what it would look like. Sorry about that. You can't see it here, but there is the professional letterhead up here that says like the people concerned. You're going to insert who you're sending it to and their address. So it's just like a business letter, the date, client's name, social, date of birth. Something to the likings of this, obviously you'd plug in whatever program you're actually writing from and what you're applying for here. That would change for client to client. And this is how we want you to list out their homelessness, documented homelessness history is like clear date. Oh, this is a little incorrect. So you'd want an actual date. So you'd want it to be like 5-1-2010 to 6-7-2010. So you want to include like month, day, and year, and then to say specifically where they were. And then that's the way that you want each one of those bullet points to look. Month, day, year, from this date to this date, and then actual location. Yeah, so then where can I find help? You can find these trainings on SharePoint. That's where the links to the forms are. And then we also have drop-in hours. Charmaine and Lindsay have drop-in hours once a week, and you can go to them for help. That's on Monday and Friday for them. Both of them, I believe, are at 1 p.m. If you're interested in that, like you can shoot me an email and I can send you an invite for those. And then I also have a drop-in hour specifically for Santa Monica applications on Thursday afternoons. Yeah. And then this is something we like to wrap in for everyone, is just to understanding collaboration efforts. I know that everyone plays a vital role in helping our clients getting housed. It starts from the very beginning, obviously outreach workers, and then from outreach workers, they help case managers to like prove homelessness and help clients to get into services. And then from that, it trickles up to people that are looking at the applications and our supervisors, and then the people who get our grants, and it all kind of interweaves into how we help our clients get housed. Yeah, so that's just always nice to like wrap in, to remember that we're all working towards the same goal. Even when we reach our hands out to other organizations like Brilliant Corners or the Housing Authority and people like that, we're all on the same team, and our goal is all to like help our clients get housed and to do what we can to make our clients' lives better and easier. Yeah. So any final questions, concerns? Comments for me before we let you all go?
No, thank you for all the information.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And then my contact information is in the beginning of the chat. And then I believe Bree is going to send you all out the things that we went over in this training. Thank you all for bearing with me for this and with my nerves with this recording and everything. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Always available by email, text, whatever floats your boat. Okay, thank you so much.
Everyone, I'll be sending you, thank you so much, Aiko, by the way. So it was amazing, and I'm sure it was informative to a lot of our people here. But yes, like Aiko said, wait, is it Aiko or Aiko? Or I have to
Aiko, yeah.
Aiko, okay, just want to make sure. I'll be sending out the materials for, like, I'll be sending out that presentation. I'll also put in there like the drop-in hours that y'all have and Aiko's information, okay? But thank you so much, everybody.
Sounds good. Have a good day.
Bye, y'all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Bree, so much.
Oh my God, of course. I'm here to support you. You did great, dude.
Thank you.
Bye,
Let me stop this recording.